Hello everybody, welcome to Mindful Monday. It's Monday and it's going to be a mindful one, and have a look outside my backyard, or they call it my front yard actually. It's rainy season, so there's a lot of breeze coming right now. Like, I don't know if you can hear it. I want you to just see all the palms just waving. It feels delightful right now, even though it's in the middle of the summer. And I have a little hint for you if you ever want to visit Belize. I know a lot of places, that are balmy and beautiful. You never want to go during rainy season. But you know what? Come to Belize during rainy season. Whenever they say it's rainy season, that's when I would go. Because it gets cooler, cloudier. The sun still comes out. If we have a rain, it might last 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And the clouds are welcomed here. You never have to worry about not getting sun. So that's just a little hint if you ever want to visit Belize. Now, I want you to come inside my apartment and we're going to talk a little bit about thinner peace. Come on in. Come into my air conditioning. Here we go. Hi, Diane. Hi, Connie. Welcome to my little apartment. We're going to have a little sit and discuss things. Hello. Now, I have been told that I need to be looking at the camera when I talk, and right now I'm looking at myself. So I think I'm going to start looking at the camera, and if somebody can tell me if it looks like I'm looking at you and not myself, that will be very good. It's going to be hard to get used to, but you know what? I can manage my mind. Okay. So I'm looking at the camera, and this is what I want to talk about. My thinner peace logo that I use. I love the term thinner peace, and I really use it because I think that it has everything to do with what I teach. So it's not just, okay, good. Thanks, Diane. Okay, so thinner peace. What does it mean? How do you create it? Because it is something that you create in your own mind. It's not something that falls down from the sky and graces you, even though that would be nice. But here's the deal. If you've gone through a lot of your life, let's say the first half of your life, not in thinner peace. For instance, for me, I was constantly thinking about what I should and shouldn't be eating, if I was good or bad, how I looked. Not that I still don't care how I look or what I'm eating. It's just that I don't have all this craziness around it. And that's what I want for you, to get rid of the crazy. And it starts with having peace inside of you. Now, here's the deal with peace inside of you. That also doesn't come from outside of you. It comes from inside of you. And when it comes from inside of you, to me, peace is a feeling. And for those of you who have worked with me before, you all know that a feeling comes from a thought that is created in your mind by you. Which is really, really powerful, because when I came up with the term thinner peace, I think of it as the inner peace within inside of you around everything in your life. So I don't think of it as just being thin and being in peace. I think of it as having everything inside of you around how you look at your life at peace. And because that is created by your mind, then it is mastering your mind is how you will create peace. And since a lot of you that I work with ask me, well, how do I do it with my body and how do I do it with food? I would also like to say that a lot of the emotions surrounding when you eat or how you look at yourself have to do with how you look at your life and who's in it and who's not in it. For instance, your mother, you know who I'm talking to. Or your husband, you know who I'm talking to. Or your job. One of those things just isn't the way you want it to be. And you have a lot of conflict around it, and it creates a lot of negative emotion. For many of the people that I work with, this can be blamed on why they can't stop eating their emotions because of the things that are going on in their life. And what I find for most of the people that I work with is that the work that I do, and I am bragging on myself just a little, but it's the type of coaching that I've learned how to do, is that it helps you by creating peace within inside of you. It helps you change your whole life, right? And so many people have said, when after working with me or working in one of my programs, is it's really not about the food, because it's all about how you see what you're doing. If it's your eating, if it's how you're looking at yourself, what you're thinking when you weigh yourself, all is created through your mind. And you can create peace when you get on a scale, regardless of the number, or you can create great conflict. Now, most of the people that I work, and for myself for many years, there was great conflict around that scale, or praise, or the best day of my life. Like, to me, 20 years ago, the best day of my life would be seeing a certain number on a scale, like my goal weight. Like, I'd go to Weight Watchers and I would hit my goal weight. Best day of my life. The number was the best day of my life, right? Because I created so many thoughts around it. And then when I lost that number, say it went up a pound, I was then not at peace anymore. So what I'm talking about to you is creating the inner peace within you around everything. And since we're talking about food, then let me give you a little tool that I use. Connie, Diane, I think you know it, but hey, it never hurts to hear it again and practice it a lot. So I want to tell you a little story about some of my favorite friends and business colleagues that I work with and talk to. We were out to dinner one night, and there was about 6 of us. And this is just the funniest thing to me. So we're all out, and I am telling you, I am with stunning, brilliant, successful women. Okay, the waiter brings the bread basket. Now, you should see these women when the bread basket come. They start passing it. Passing it like, keep it away from me. You take it. And then the next person would say, no, I can't. You take it. And they were passing it all around. And I said, look it, pass the bread basket to me. I'll take it. I'll hold it. I'll put it by me. All these women, talk about no peace and all this conflict around a bread basket, did not trust themselves with the bread basket sitting right next to them. That's not called inner peace, darling. That is not inner peace. That is called conflict and no peace around food. And you know what? It just gets crazy about everything in your life. And the thing is that the women that are doing this have no awareness how it looks. Like once we started talking about it, it became funny, because you can start laughing at yourself to see that is so funny, that if I put the bread basket by you, I feel safe, that I won't eat it. And if I keep the bread basket by me, I don't feel safe. I think I will eat it. And really, it's all in your head. The bread basket has nothing to do with it. So when we talk about the inner peace, we talk about trusting yourself, right? You got to trust yourself. How do you trust yourself? You start with practicing. A perfect way to practice, next time you go out to eat, if you have a problem with the bread basket, I'm not saying be wasteful. I'm just saying that sometimes it's good to put your nemesis, as a lot of my clients have called the foods that they think they can't control themselves around, and I think I might be talking to one right now, and put it in front of your face where you see it all the time. So if we're going out to eat, don't pass it if you don't want to eat it and nobody else wants to keep it by you. And start changing the way you think about the bread in that bread basket, as opposed to the thoughts that probably created conflict and all this distrust in yourself is, I can't control myself. That's what it is, right? The mastery of that thought is going to, of course I can control myself. It's only bread. Now, I'm not saying you can go from A to B, But I am saying that you can do this by doing many steps, even if you can't do the big step first. Or let's say bread's not your problem. Let's say you're more like I was and it was potato chips. I did not keep potato chips in my house unless I planned on eating the whole bag. I mean, it's not like I could keep potato chips in my house and have a few. It's like if they were there, they were to be eaten by me, the whole bag. Okay. So if that were me, what I would do is I would buy the potato chips. I would keep them in my pantry up front and close. So every time I open up that pantry, I would see that bag of potato chips and I would start working on what I think about them. And you know what I came to, and this took practice and work, is they're just potato chips. They taste good. So what? That is, oh, Connie, you're making spaghetti with meat sauce and garlic bread this evening. I can do this. Of course you can, God, you're powerful and brilliant. Of course you can do it. Right, and you got to know, and you have to believe, like Connie, if you say, I can do this, you have to believe that you can do this, or else you change the way you think a little bit to make it more believable and doable. Like, do you think you can ever have garlic bread again? Of course you can. Do you think you want some now? If you want a little, great, have some. The whole idea is that it's just garlic bread. And Connie, you are so much bigger and so much powerful than a piece of garlic bread. I don't care how good it is, right? Because we say to ourselves, but it's so delicious and it's so good. Brilliant, successful women, I can't help myself, I have to eat it all. I mean, what are we talking about? So, your homework for today, if you choose to accept it, is to know who's the boss of your mind. It's you. And if the boss would like to have some peace in their life, starting with food, then this is how you do it. You start mastering your mind and start seeing what you're thinking. And for many of you, maybe you don't even know what you're thinking. You never know. So you got to start looking and see, well, what am I thinking? But I will guarantee that a lot of it has to do with not trusting yourself and thinking that that food is bigger than you are, which is absolutely ridiculous when we're sitting here talking about it. Not so ridiculous when you're in your mind thinking about it and the potato chips are sitting right next to you. You have to practice. So that's what I want you to do for the next week is practice, practice, practice. Put those things that you think you can't control. Prove to yourself that you can. And maybe you don't start with the biggest nemesis. Maybe you start with something just a little bit littler that doesn't have such a pull, so that you can show yourself that if you tell yourself, I can do this, you can do it. And you know what? If you really believe you can do it, you will do it. Because everything you think creates the result that you want if you really believe it. All the results in your life are evidence for your thinking. If you like your results, I guarantee you'll like your thinking. If you don't like some of the results, then all you have to do is change what you're thinking and becoming aware of what it is you are thinking. So that is it for today. I loved seeing you all here, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you. And don't forget, find that food, put it in front of you, and show who the boss is. Okay? Until next week, bye-bye.